If you're a parent, you worry about your kid's safety online. It's a huge, complex world out there. But guess what? There are clear strategies that actually work. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what those are. It really is the question on every parent's mind, right? In a world where our kids are literally always connected, how in the world do we protect them? It can feel completely overwhelming, but the research shows there's a real path forward. And here's the good news. There's a proven framework for this stuff. It's not about finding that one magic bullet, that one single solution. It's about balancing two key elements. And this is the core idea. The solution is really two-sided. The first part is everything we can do as parents to guide our kids. The second is what the platforms themselves, the social media apps, the games, the websites, what they need to do on their end. Think of it like a partnership for safety. Okay, so before we dive into the solutions, we really need to get our heads around the fundamental tension of the online world. Because for young people, it's this place of incredible opportunity, but it's also, unfortunately, a place of pretty significant risk. On one side, you have these absolutely amazing opportunities, a universe of information at their fingertips, the chance to connect with friends, and just endless creative outlets. But on the other side, you've got some really serious risks, harmful content, cyberbullying, privacy issues, you name it. So the goal, really, is to find a way to get all those benefits while protecting our kids from the dangers. So let's start with that first piece of the puzzle, what we can do as parents. Now, the official term for this is parental mediation, but honestly, a much better way to think of it is as the ultimate parent playbook for online safety. So what is parental mediation really? Well, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. It's just all the ways you interact with your kids about their online lives, the conversations you have, the rules you set, even the funny videos you watch together. It's all about being an active guide in their digital world, not just a bystander. And this quote really gets to the heart of why your involvement is so absolutely crucial. I mean, sure, schools and other groups play a role, but the research shows that parents are the first and most important line of defense when it comes to teaching kids how to be safe online. Okay, so when we talk about this whole parental mediation thing, there's no single right way to do it. Every family is different, every kid is different. Research has really pinpointed 3 main styles that parents can use, and you can even mix and match them. These 3 main strategies are active mediation, social co-viewing, and restrictive mediation. Let's dig in and see what each one of these actually looks like in the real world. First up, we have active mediation. This is the really hands-on approach. It's about actually talking with your kids about what they're seeing and doing online, asking them questions, and helping them build that critical thinking muscle they need to navigate it all safely. It's a conversation, not a lecture. Sometimes a really simple question can be incredibly powerful. Just asking something like, hey, do you think this would ever happen in real life? Can open up a huge conversation about what's real and what's fake online. And that is such a vital lesson for kids to learn. Next up is something called social co-viewing. Think of this as being their co-pilot. You're not always directing where they go, but you're right there with them, sharing the experience. Watching a YouTube video or playing a game together, it builds a connection and gives you a peek into their world. And finally, we have restrictive mediation. This is probably the one you already think of. It's the classic rules and boundaries approach. We're talking clear limits on screen time, what apps they can and can't use, and which websites are off limits. It's the most direct way to control their digital environment. So, the big question is, which of these 3 is the most effective at actually reducing risk? Well, the research points overwhelmingly to restrictive mediation. While talking and sharing experiences are super important for building trust and critical thinking, when it comes to just plain preventing exposure to danger, clear and consistent rules are the most powerful tool you have. But look, even the most on-it parent can't be there 24/7. It's just not possible. And that's exactly why parental guidance is only half of the solution. We also need the digital world itself to be a safer place. And that brings us to the second key element, industry self-regulation. So, self-regulation, what is it? Basically, it's when the tech companies themselves step up. It's when social media platforms and game developers create and enforce their own rules to keep us safe. The bottom line is, it means parents don't have to do all the heavy lifting alone. And hey, this isn't just some hypothetical idea. Tons of major tech companies are already putting these kinds of safety frameworks in place. Europe especially has been a real leader here, and they've given us some great examples of how this can work. These frameworks are essentially the blueprints for building a safer internet. They lay out the specific features and policies that platforms really should have in place to protect everyone, especially younger users.
A perfect example is the Safer Social Networking Principles from the EU. It's a four-part strategy. First, awareness, teaching users how to stay safe. Second, tools, giving users control, like being able to block someone. Third, reporting, making it super easy to flag bad stuff. And finally, response, making sure that when something is reported, it gets dealt with and fast. The big idea here is that safety shouldn't be an add-on, it should be baked into the platform from the very beginning.
And this kind of self-regulation isn't just for social media. The video game industry, which has been wrestling with these concerns for decades, actually has a very similar system that's been working for years. It's called the PEG system, and if you've ever bought a video game in Europe, you'll definitely recognize these little logos. It's a simple but brilliant idea, a clear age rating on the front of the box, and then on the back, little icons that tell you exactly why it got that rating. Is it for violence? Bad language? It gives parents all the info they need to make a quick, smart decision right there in the store. So, what's the ultimate takeaway from all of this? Well, true online safety really comes down to two pillars. You've got informed parents who are actively involved in their kids' digital lives, and you've got responsible platforms that build safety right into their design. When you have both of those working together, you create a much, much safer online world for everybody. This partnership between parents and platforms is, for sure, our best defense right now. But the digital world is always changing. The apps and games our kids will be using next year might not even exist today. So the final, and maybe most important question we have to ask is this: how do we make sure our safety rules evolve just as fast as the technology itself?